because I mean nobody gets caught with porn on their desktop while they're streaming. That's stupid. You know what I mean? That's retarded, number one. And it's like stuff that you're not supposed to have.
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
What? Well, I mean, truth be told, I actually don't know that much about Vaush because I don't really I don't like listening to guys like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention, but all I knew was that he defended child pornography. You know what I mean? And just off of that talking point, I was like, oh, this guy sucks.
Okay, so if you were to, there's pedophiles, right, who buy child pornography. Would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really? Even though they're directly supporting child rape?
Yeah.
Do you know what a lolcow is?
What is that?
It's spelled LOLCOW, lolcow, like LOL cow.
I never heard that term.
It's basically somebody on the internet who's like an embarrassment and like a joke, and like everybody makes fun of. They just exist on the internet for other people to make fun of.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so like,
so he's one of those.
Well, now he is for sure. He was always He always was kind of one, depending. Because he has his own following, and depending on who you talk to about somebody like Vaush.
To his fans, to his followers, he considered as like one of those serious personnel, right?
Yeah, like he was like considered like a serious political commentator.
But now he's a joke because the.
So one more time. So this is how it ended.
This is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
What? That's a face of a man who knows.
Because I mean, nobody gets caught with porn on their desktop while they're streaming. That's stupid. You know what I mean? That's retarded, number one. And it's like stuff that you're not supposed to have, like child, like you want to call it. I mean, it's basically child porn.
It might be a crime. Like I don't know, like because.
Well, if you're not allowed to Google it, I think it's illegal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So could you tell me a little bit about like his content, like his main contents, like so you're saying like he's an extreme left wing, far left.
Yeah.
And like he's like a socialism, but it's not what he's trying to say is not even socialism. I think he's just
it's not real socialism.
I think he's just crazy. This guy right here,
Well, a lot of that left-wing stuff, I think people on the internet, like, back around, like, 2016, like, a lot of people, like, okay, so, back in, like, around, like, the Trump election, the first Trump election, around 2015, 2016, the political commentary, kind of stuff on YouTube and just on the internet in general, it really blew up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I got into it, there was something around 2016. I kind of stumbled upon that scene, and back then it was called Internet Blood Sports. And Internet Blood Sports, or IBS for short, was kind of like this like space on the internet where a lot of people would debate each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like this, like how you and I are talking. They would just get on like a fucking like call or whatever from like different areas of the country, different areas of the world, and they would debate over politics and just like argue and like yell at each other, basically. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of famous people that actually started getting involved in this stuff too. Like people who are actually like legitimately in politics now.
Right.
And that's the crazy part, because there was people from that kind of space on the internet, this like almost like niche, extreme, politically charged area of the internet that ended up going into politics themselves and actually like becoming somewhat successful. That's the crazy part. People like Laura Loomer.
Yeah, I want to point, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, if you start talking about politics, right? It's like you get more attention for sure, especially on the internet, right? That's how they do it. Like a lot of celebrities and like famous people. Like before, they didn't really give a fuck about politics and everything. They were just doing their own stuff. But now they start talking about politics. It's actually happening in Korea as well. Like a lot of comedians are like, very popular personnel. Like they, start talking about politics because it's really like, do you know what I mean? Like we talked about it, right? The politics kind of it divides people. So like
it's a hot button issue. It's always going to be controversial on some level.
We need politics, 100%, right? But like,
yeah,
I don't like whenever like people use politics for their own kind of fame and kind of like own interest. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not healthy way of like, talking about politics. But,
well, that's what Vaush did. That's what guys like Hassan Piker did. Even remember how I told you about Destiny? That guy Destiny. He got famous in the internet blood sport scene for debating politics from a liberal standpoint.
That's the easy way to get followers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's easy because you no matter what you argue from, whatever point you argue from, you're gonna have like an audience that's already built in to that. Like, you know what I mean? There's already an audience there. So if you're like right wing or if you're left wing, you already have an audience that's there waiting to listen to you.
That's what I'm saying.
And they want, and a lot of it is they don't even care if you're right.
Right.
They just want to hear themselves be validated.
They're just very excited about like, oh, okay, there's the famous personnel on the YouTube. We're sharing the same thought. That's what they're excited about.
Yeah. It's somebody that just agrees with you online, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they got rich off of that shit, man. It's crazy, dude. Vaush was one of those guys. Vaush got rich off all those sickos, perverts, Antifa type people. You know what I mean? Like they funded his whole entire lifestyle, and now it's coming to in a way it's crashing down a little bit. But I don't even know if it's going to affect him that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the people that follow him already, they probably knew all this stuff about him. Well, like the internet blood sport stuff was extremely entertaining because it was like you just had like a bunch of people who were like yelling at each other about politics. But a lot of people just, when you really break it down, most people don't know what the fuck they're talking about because nobody really knows what's going on in politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like, because you know me, like I got like most people, like around 2016 and like a little bit afterwards, like a lot of people got very political, me included, right? And what I came to realize was like, oh, I don't know shit about politics. Like, I don't know what the fuck is actually going on.
When we first met, like, no, even in the States, like, you never talked about politics, man. We only talked about music, art, movies, man.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about those kind of stuff. We never talked about politics, but you actually, because I see it now, you became very political, man.
Yeah, for a little while, yeah.
It's not the Mike I know, but it's kind of interesting though because you can introduce me like more ideas, so that you can educate me, like because I don't really know much about like American politics and shit, but maybe Koreans are kind of curious about it. So
it's kind of weird, you know what I mean? Because it's easy to get sucked into it, and like kind of feel like, oh, like I know what's going on. But like nowadays I kind of look at strictly from like an entertainment point of view. You know what I mean? It's like WWF.
Yeah.
It's like pro wrestling to me.